Seeing none, we'll move on to number 2. Stay right there, Will. The Southport Connector Expressway Project Development and Environment Study Update. Mr. Will.
Perfect. All right. Good morning again. My next presentation will be an update on the Southport Connector Expressway. Shown in orange, you can see the Southport Connector Expressway study area and how it is an integral part to a larger proposed expressway system within Osceola County to address current and future growth. The Southport Connector Expressway would be an approximately 15-mile expressway in the Point Siena area connecting 538 today to Turnpike as well as Canoe Creek Road and straddles both Osceola and Polk County. The study began in September of 2020. Presentations and project updates have been provided to the advisory groups, our Environmental Stewardship Committee, as well as the public as we progress through this study. Our most recent activities were hosting the Alternatives Public Workshop, which is where the public weighed in on the various alternatives being considered so that our team could narrow it down to the preferred alternative, which you'll see today. As you know, at the heart of any PD&E study is the purpose and need. The Southport Connector will provide yet another leg in achieving regional connectivity between I-4 and Florida's Turnpike. Not only that, but the project will address ongoing growth within 2 of the fastest growing counties in the state, Polk and Osceola. Much of this growth is happening adjacent to and within the study area with developments such as Westview and Waterland, formerly known as the Green Island DRI, as well as Richland Communities, who recently purchased 3,200 acres of the Brunson Ranch within our study area. From a traffic perspective, the traffic along Cypress Parkway has increased 25% in 5 years between 2019 and 2024, and is anticipated to increase another 29% by the year 2050. Lastly, the proposed Southport Connector would provide relief along Cypress Parkway by adding roadway and multimodal capacity through the corridor, as well as enhancing evacuation and emergency response times. Now, throughout the study, we often found ourselves trying to convey what the benefits of a facility like this would look like. To do that, we took a hypothetical trip from Point Siena to the Orlando International Airport. And according to Google Maps today, that trip during peak hours is upwards of 90 minutes, which tends to align with what Commissioner Arrington was saying. With this facility, that would be cut in half by 50%, and you would be looking at a reliable commute time of around 45 minutes. The trip today, and actually, the 90-minute trip, that's averaging 18 miles per hour, a little faster than a golf cart, so it's not very fast to take 28 miles. All right, so shown here is the Southport Connector Expressway study area outlined in red, as well as the alternatives considered throughout the study. Given the unique characteristics of this corridor, it's almost 2 projects in one. On the western end, you really have one alignment with different vertical options. On the eastern end, there are different alignments to the area of the approved South Lake Tahoe master plan. Beginning on the western end of the Cypress Parkway segment of the project, this portion begins at Point Siena Parkway and Coa Street, runs within existing right-of-way, south, then east to Pleasant Hill Road, which is around 4.8 miles. It is important to note that the expressway would be co-located within the median of Cypress Parkway that exists today, right-of-way. Additionally, all existing full crossings would be preserved, which is depicted in the orange squares throughout the orange, in the various spots of the orange line alignment. As for ramps providing access to the facility, the blue labels indicate where entrance ramps and exit ramps would be located. Now, the PD&E study analyzed 3 different alternatives for the proposed expressway in this area, starting off with a wall alternative. This option assumed an elevated expressway down the middle of Cypress Parkway right-of-way on embankment with bridges at the existing cross streets only. Conversely, the bridge alternative assumes an elevated expressway on structure the entire length of the Cypress Parkway corridor. The hybrid alternative is just that. It's a combination of the wall and bridge options to minimize right-of-way impacts, balance project costs, and to align with the significant community feedback. It's important to note that there are no residential displacements along this segment of the project with the hybrid alternative. Now, moving on to the east side of the study area, you have alternative 3,000 in orange, which is the northernmost alignment, 4,000 shown in yellow, which is right through the middle, and 7,000 shown in purple, which is the southernmost alignment. Also included on this map are the landowners such as Kenansville Ranch, Southport Ranch, Richland Communities, as well as Osceola County, adopted future roadway network, which are the red lines you see traversing much of the study area. One more thing to point out is the shading that is visible over pretty much everything north of our study limit, the red dashed line, and this is the approved South Lake Tahoe master plan. Now, to give you an idea of the development that is underway in this area, for the Waterland property alone, which straddles the turnpike and is kind of in the top right of our slide, this property has entitlements for over 16,000 homes, a future marina on Lake Tahoe, 5 million square feet of office and commercial, over 700,000 square feet of industrial, and over 400,000 square feet of civic use. That being said, it's no secret that Osceola County continues to be attractive for building new communities that include residential and commercial development. Now, of the three alternatives considered through this area of the project, there were little differences between them. That said, towards the end of the advisory group meetings, the Nature Conservancy asked if we could consider the potential smoke shed dispersal area that is related to their prescribed and controlled burns. We added that criteria to our full evaluation matrix, and it was found that alternative 7,000 did have the most overlap, which made this option less attractive when selecting the preferred alternative. As with all CFX PD&E projects, we hosted a number of advisory group meetings, ESC meetings, and then compiled summaries of their input, which are shown here. Since we already covered the prescribed burns, I would like to point out that as it relates to wildlife crossings, we've met with the Florida Wildlife Corridor Foundation in 2023 and currently include connectivity for wildlife at the Reedy Creek Bridge, which is over 3,000 feet long. Now, when meeting with the agency stakeholders and the public, their concerns and input are summarized here. Most notable were feedback received related to the Cypress Parkway segment. Those included concerns for who would be on the hook for maintaining a nearly 4-mile-long area underneath the bridge if that option were selected. Concerns for noise, which we've done a noise study as part of the PD&E study. We will be showcasing that at the public hearing, as well as capacity on Cypress Parkway, which I'll touch on in just a second. Now, with careful consideration and weighing the pros and cons of each alignment and alternative, as well as capturing the input from stakeholders, this is the preferred alternative we will be taking to our public hearing in September, just next month. The preferred alternative is a combination of the hybrid alternative within the Cypress Parkway corridor on the west end of the study area and alternative 4,000 with minor refinements to accommodate input from stakeholders on the east end of the study area. In short, if this were to move forward, you would have a widened Cypress Parkway going from 4 to 6 lanes and even 2 to 6 lanes in some areas of Cypress Parkway. This would be done as part of the CFX project. A third option for getting into and out of Poinciana. That is one of the big issues they have. They are kind of an island in this area, and they have very limited options to get in and out of their community. Not only that, you'd have regional connectivity between I-4 and Turnpike, as well as enhance evacuation and emergency response. Most importantly, the primary purpose of today's presentation is to let you, the board, know, as well as the public, about the upcoming public hearings. Now, for this project, we do have 3, which is a little bit of an anomaly, and this is because we touch both Osceola and Polk County. So we will have our first one in Osceola County on September 16th. The next day, we'll have a virtual option, which you can sign up for that on the website. And then on the 17th, we'll have our Polk County option. Now, all of these are located in close proximity to the study area, which the addresses are shown here. And with that, that concludes my presentation.